Good evening, everybody. Chronicle of my journey. Happy Sunday to you all. It is Sunday, September the 20th, and I have been so busy working like crazy and just trying to keep up with the rat race of online teaching that I didn't get to tell y'all about my doctor's appointment this past week. So, um, So I had a chance to go and see Dr. Park, which is just a follow-up visit. Nothing has happened. And we talked about a couple of things that I was unclear on. He was still pushing for the counseling, the therapy sessions that are at what is it? YMCA. And I'm okay with doing them, but in the meantime, until everything kind of like opens up and those people are able to see me, I had settled for doing some counseling sessions slash like therapy slash support groups on Facebook. And so I just kind of respond back and forth to some people who are going through a bunch of different situations. I mean, like, you just would never know that every age, every race, both genders, like, it's just a goulash of people that are in this group, and we are sharing our experiences about the cancer journeys that we have all been placed on. So anyway, excuse me. I talked to him about one thing in particular that a young lady shared in this support group is that she had been advised of a PET scan. And so what me knows it, Google search and all of these different things, from what I could deduce from those things is that PET scans are able to go and filter out through the body. Excuse me. I'm sorry, to see if there is any cancerous cells in the body. So, previous videos I had talked to you about, Dr. Park was not a big fan of me having a lot of blood work and a lot of tests done if there are no symptoms, because those things create more emotional damage, and there's no proof that having your body scanned like that will find the cancer earlier than the cancer showing up itself and manifesting itself in way of doing something weird to your body. So, like, if there are more issues, like, let's say cancer shows up somewhere else in the body, then that area of the body will start to perform weird, and based on that, then you can request tests and all of that. Well, this young lady that I was corresponding back and forth with says that her doctor requested the test anyway. So Dr. Parker and I kind of have had some knockdown drag outs about the testing, because to me, I would rather be overly tested than miss, finding the cancer early enough to treat it and find it at like stage 1. But what it really came down to is that is not what he calls a standard of care. That is not something that the insurance company will provide as a means of care. And therefore, those PET scans and whatnot will be an out-of-pocket expense. And they are to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars. Sorry, I'm trying to sit up, because the more I lay down, I yawn. I keep yawning. I'm getting tired and tired and tired. So we talked about the PET scans, and so for me slash Vanderbilt slash my insurance company, it's not a standard of care. So it's not something I can have unless I'm willing to pay those tens of thousands of dollars out of my pocket. So of course I'm not. I ain't got no tens of thousands of dollars laying around. And B, if something starts to act up, then I can request testing at that time. So like I was having I'm not saying was as in past tense. I'm saying the migraines have been happening for me for like almost 2 months now. And as a result, because something has happened, the insurance company covered the scan necessary to figure out if there was a cancerous cell or not. So that's kind of how the course of action will work for me, is if something starts to get a little off its normal function, then that's when we will request for the scan and let the insurance company take care of it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm wore out. Okay, so we talked about, right, the PET scans and got an understanding of that. I have been asked to speak on Vanderbilt is trying to get a grant for breast cancer survivors as well as BRCA1 genetic mutation issues. So I've been asked to speak on my experiences with Vanderbilt as well as my journey with the BRCA1 discovery. So that's sometime in October. And I don't think, I mean, it's going to be a Zoom call. I don't think it's going to be something so significant that it requires no major anything out of me. But they just want to hear, like, from a patient's perspective of how those things went. And I think, for me personally, I think it went well. I think Dr. Powell was very, very thorough. She really pushed and advocated for me to alert my siblings that I do have the genetic mutation and they should be cautious regarding that issue that I carry, because if we have the same one, of course, one of the same parents, then if the gene came from my mom, then all three of my brothers could be at risk. Particularly my older brother. So he has two parents who possibly could have carried the gene because his father passed away from it. Not breast cancer. I can't remember which cancer he had. But so he would be very, 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 very reasonable to be concerned and have a lot of scans and tests done, and just to be cautious that that is a genetic thing and it could have been passed on to him and his children and so forth and etc. So anybody in that lineage needs to be tested and be aware and be focused on their health in those regards. That's neither here nor there. So we had that discussion. We had a discussion about the plan, the course of action for making sure that I don't have breast cancer again. So I kind of got into a little panic. Let me tell you, I think I maybe said this in the last video, but I'll touch on it real quick. I kind of got in a little bit of a panic because I woke up one morning and I went to rub my breast and I felt another lump. And of course, I about lost it. Like, I was like, oh my God. So I called, I made my appointment, but I'd already had an appointment coming up with Dr. Higdon, the plastic surgeon. So I went into the doctor's office and I did express to him like I was feeling the lump. Like I had like 2 lumps, like right here. And I was trying not to panic, but inside of me, just like everything about me now is very cautious about my body and how it's functioning. So what I have now is called necrosis. And that's just where your fat tissues form like balls. That sounded disgusting. Form like cellular, like little circles, like little pockets of fat kind of bunched together. And it feels like the lump. So I was a little scared. I'll be honest. I was a little panic stricken, but Dr. Higdon, he's funny. He's a real Like he's something else. He's a weird, quirky like guy, but he rubbed and felt my breasts and he massaged them. And when he got to the part where I felt the lump, he just kind of giggled. And I was like, hey, yo, Slim, this ain't a good time for a joke, because you know what I'm saying, I'm ready to fight. So it was just necrosis. So the pockets of tissue had surfaced again. Well, had surfaced. And so what you do when you have necrosis is you have to rub them and kind of like pop them. They're kind of like pimples, big ones. So when they're in there, you kind of got to rub real, real hard to get them to flatten back out and melt down that fat tissue that has formed its bubble. So that's what I got. So I still have like 4 or 5 that I feel. And I calm down, because after I start rubbing them, I can feel them kind of getting smaller and smaller, and they go away. So the plan of action is to just continue to massage in those areas to make sure that the fat pockets don't stay there. They just kind of dissolve and go back down like normal. So anyway, all of that, I said all that to say a whole lot of stuff. So everything is going fine. The scars are healed well. I'm still supposed to be wearing sports bras, and he doesn't want me to go commando. Unless I just am going out on a town, but your boobs are just kind of like anything else. Like if you don't wear a bra, they can begin to sag like your natural boobies. So to keep them nice and high and perky, you keep a bra on as much as possible. And then when you want to go out with your girlfriends and wear your little low-cut shirt or your back out, then you don't have to wear a bra then. You're fine. So we got that squared away. We talked about the necrosis. And he wants to make sure that Dr. Higdon has a plan for continued monitoring of my breast. So I go to Dr. Park and Dr. Grau next week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, somewhere. I don't know. Tuesday, Wednesday. One day. I don't know. I go next week. I'll let you know. And so we will be discussing then the plan for how to make sure there's a difference between the necrosis and a cancer cell. So we got to keep a good watch eye on that. I'm sure Dr. Higdon has access to my files, and he's able to see, of course, all of the things, but he just wants me to have a conversation with him to make sure that Dr. Higdon is alert to the fact that my cancer is genetic, and that we are keeping a watchful eye on my continued progress. And again, Dr. Park is so, he's just like, nope, Tish, we're not claiming cancer. You're not going to get it anymore. We have done that journey, and we're just monitoring your health going forward. So, I love that about his spirit, and I wish I could stay as calm about it all. But sometimes I ain't that calm. So I'm still trying to process emotionally the things that I deal with. So on to the next thing we talked about was the counseling. So of course the counseling was being offered at YMCA, but Vanderbilt has started a new chapter of support group and counseling and therapy for cancer patients who come through Vanderbilt. So I was asked to be a part of this first round of pilot people who are going in for counseling, and to have someone talk to them about the journey and the plan pushing forward, and the emotional sides of what cancer does for you, or what cancer does to you emotionally. I have that appointment coming up soon, and I'll keep y'all posted on how that goes. I know that I have done some counseling sessions before, and and I have participated in some like therapy treatment plans for just life plans and, writing your vision board and just kind of stuff like that I have done in the past. But I'm just interested to see what this group of people, what this therapy session will have that'll be different from anything else I've experienced in the past. I know that Dr. Park is still, he's still very adamant that he doesn't want me to live in fear. However, if you wake up and feel a knot in your boob, you're going to be scared, Dr. Park. Now, give me a break now. I ain't going to sit here and tell no lie that I ain't going to be scared. Now, I'm going to be scared. That's just what this is. I'm going to be scared. That's all I can't tell no lie. Now, stop it. Anyway, fast forward and moving on to the next topic. So, I have been so amazingly blessed to have some wonderful people enter into my life. And so one day I was at work at my little part-time job, and one of my former kids' parents came in, and she has been diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And it's just amazing that I saw her walk past me, and I raised up and I called her name, and she turned around and said, "Yeah, that's me." But she came back around the corner so she could see the face that was calling her name. And when she saw it was me, she just broke down in tears. And I was like, whoa, wait, what happened? Like, now, I'm trying to check out because everybody ain't seen my bald head, right? So all my kids, all my kids seen my bald head, but the parents didn't. And I don't know. But anyway, when she saw me, she just broke down in tears. And me and her air hugging in the stove. So, honey, I said, what's the matter? But anyway, she has now been diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's going through a lot of the emotional stresses that it causes you on impact. And so she and I talked for a good 10, 15 minutes in the store, and I try to be very careful not to say the things to her that people said to me, like, oh, don't worry about it. You can't tell nobody such foolishness. That's a scary thing. Do not, ladies and gentlemen, let me push pause right here to tell you, if somebody tells you they're going through something traumatic, if you don't have the right words to say, your best gift to offer them is a listening ear. It's better that you don't say nothing stupid. Just don't say nothing. It's better that you say nothing, I meant to say, than do you say something stupid. Like, why are you worried about it? Don't cry. You're going to be okay. To me, that is so insensitive. Because you don't know what that person has dealt with in the past. You don't know what that person is feeling, and already whatever baggage is already there, that person has to eat that baggage plus the fact that they now have cancer. So what I did not want to do when I saw her was tell her, oh, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. I said to her, I understand your fear. I hear you. I understand your fear. Please take my number. If you just need somebody to listen to you on the phone, if you just need somebody to cry, if you want me to send you a few pieces of groceries through these little grocery shopping apps, whatever I can do to help you through your journey, my prayer is that you will come out on the other side of this spotless. I'm here to support you in any way I can. I understand your fear. I understand the tears. But what I want you to do is try to remember you have children looking at you. And if you got to lock yourself in your room and cry, try that. But when you come out, show your children that you are brave, you are strong, and they can learn to be strong and brave in the face of adversities too. But my first mouth didn't say, don't worry about it. That's a hell of a thing to have to worry about. And if it ain't been you, you don't know what it feels like for somebody to tell you something. And then people would say to me, so-and-so mama had breast cancer. She died like 2 years ago. And I'm thinking like, wait, what the? Don't say that kind of stuff to people. Please don't. If you don't know what to say, don't say nothing. So anyway, put her in your prayer book. Put her in your prayer targets. I just wholeheartedly believe that God has a journey for all of us. And your journey might not be cancer. Your journey might be, somebody's journey might be drug addiction. Somebody's journey might be, financial. I don't know what the journey is, but what I can offer as a friend is prayer. And what I can offer as a friend is support of whatever you need. So in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? I didn't need people in my space because for me, my personal space is important to me. My privacy is for some things now. And I know I get on Facebook and say a whole lot because sometimes I talk too much and say all my doggone business. But when it came to things like that, when it came to my journey, I said to myself that this was a battle for God. Nobody else has the power to save me but him. And whatever he needs me to do to get to the blessing of healing, I'm willing to do that. And I just feel like God needed me to be isolated from the world. I didn't need people in my house. I didn't want nobody here with me all day. Because like I said in my last, like in my last video, I think I talked about, when you're going through chemo, you're very tired. You're very vulnerable. You're very weak. And what you can't do is have a bunch of people in and out of your house running in and back and forth. And because guess what? If something happened and you have to fight them off, you wouldn't have the strength to do it. So I didn't want anybody coming around me. My doctors were very clear with me that when I started chemo, my immune system would be shot. I would not have the ability to fight the common cold. So I didn't want people around me. So I didn't don't bombard people. I know that your instinct is, oh my God, I got to save them. It's not your job to save anybody. You are not God. You cannot take his place. So you got to offer whatever support you have and back off. When they need you, they will call for you. So I said to her, sister, I'm here. I'm here. I understand. And it's scary. It is. But we're going to pray you through it. We're going to trust God. And whatever decisions he make, we're going to learn how to live with his decisions. So those are things you just got to consider. You know what I'm saying? You really got to think through those kind of things. And as a friend, it may be scary for y'all. Like, oh my God, if my friend dies, I never get a chance to tell my friend blah, blah, blah. But that's not what God put on me. God told me to get over there and sit down, and that's what I did. So that's how I looked at that. Anyway, fast forwarding on. I think I don't have anything else to say. We're still on for the surgery in December. Dr. Park had asked me about he calls it a menses. What is a menses, Dr. Park? I'm 43 years old. No, my cycle has not returned. It didn't come back. And he thought that it might have, but I didn't get it. Let me tell you something else too. So my girl cycle, it didn't come back. So it is what it is with that. I have not worn deodorant in about a year, maybe 2 years, a year and some months here after this chemo. Because let me tell you something, that chemo shut down my ability to sweat, shut down my ability to smell anything. So during chemo, all the surgeries, yada, 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 through all that time, I haven't worn deodorant. Now, ain't nobody told me I stink, and I tend to like to run around people that gonna tell me, hey, sis, you need to, hey, You need to hit them things. But honestly, my body functioned different after the chemo. So I asked him about that, and he said that was perfectly normal. My hair is still soft as clouds, and it's really curly. And I asked him, I said, now is my hair gonna return back to its normal way? Do I need to go get a box perm here in the next couple of days? He said no. He said it could. He said it could not. He said some people are different. Some people hair grows soft and it never goes back. Some people after a year after the last chemo, after that year, your hair will relax and go back into a natural state. But it could just simply be that my hair is just going to forever stay like this. Now, I ain't complaining, Father God. I don't want you to ever think I'm complaining about this part of the chemo or the cancer journey. But I sure do appreciate this good soft hair that you can just wet and go. Honey, I ain't never had none of this right here, and I'm loving this here. Okay, so but anyway, I said all that to say, okay, back to my arms. So I got out of the shower the other day, and I'm real peculiar about smells. I don't like nobody stink, and I try not to be ugly when people do stink, but I don't really fool with that stinky stuff. So I ain't fooling with that. But anyway, I got out of the shower, got my clothes on. I don't know what I did. I think I went to the store, ran a couple errands, blah, blah, blah. Came back home and went to the bathroom. And I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh, child, my arms stink. Ain't that good? Child. Anyway, I got to use deodorant this week. So I was real proud of that. I don't know why I was happy. So, honey, I got in my car and ran. I ain't had no deodorant in this house because I ain't been using it. The only kind I had was Mankind for a J. I had to get him to go buy me some. So I was real happy. So I got to use deodorant this week. So that tells me something about my body is coming back to its full self. My body is starting to work like it's supposed to. I was proud. Anyway, I got on deodorant today. And here going forward, I will wear my deodorant. But I was real proud of that. So that, to me, that was an accomplishment. To me, that's a milestone. Remember, I told y'all every time I take 2 steps forward. So I feel like I made 2 steps today. I was excited about smelling my little armpits. I was real happy about that. So I put on some deodorant. Anyway, I think that's all I got. Y'all done talked you to death. I done said so much. Back to our prayer targets, business as usual. Please, sir, please, ma'am, add my friend, my parent to your prayer targets. Just kindly throw up a soft word of prayer. We're going to call a T. If we can just call a T. So send up a prayer for T for me. Please, sir, please, ma'am. Make sure y'all go get checked your own self. This is the end. It's coming towards the end of the year. So your insurance company, you should be meeting your deductibles. And therefore, all your tests and scans and whatnots should be free or real cheap. Go get your scans. Go get your test done, please. And I think that's all I got. I'm just happy. I'm excited about still making progress. Now I got this one nail. I don't mean to do that. Sorry. I got this one nail. Like this was the only nail that the Taxol like completely like took off, and it's grown back. Like it's halfway there. I meant to take a picture of it before I did my nails, but it's like at the halfway point. So it's coming back. I'm real happy about that. The other nails did fine. I still just got maybe just like a little corner of 1 or 2 of them that's still trying to come on back in. But they are growing back. My toenails came all the way back. All of my toenails are back and looking like regular toenails, which is great. I'm happy about that. Again, my body is making progress. Everything is happening like normal. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, I don't know. I love y'all. This ends the chronicle of my journey for my checkup with Dr. Park. And I'll keep y'all posted on what Dr. Grau and Dr. Higdon have to say next week. I love you. Be well, be blessed. Go take care of yourself. Stay focused on your prayer targets. I think that's it.